Welcome back. I'm Edric, your medieval lore specialist. I focus on how power actually works in pre-modern worlds, courts, guilds, reputations, favors, and the rules people never write down.
And I'm Dr. Mira Voss. I look at what survival does to the mind, how people regulate emotion under threat, and why strength and wounds can exist in the same person.
Today we're dissecting Tisha's psychological profile, but we're doing it without plot spoilers, without scene-by-scene references, and without name-dropping events, just patterns. How she acts, what that behavior buys her in her world, and what it might cost her internally.
Exactly. Think of this as a lens. If you've ever wondered why she feels so controlled, so strategic, and yet still strangely human, we're going to unpack that.
Let's be blunt. In a medieval political ecosystem, a character like Tisha is not damaged. She's competent. She's built for the world she lives in. Courts are predatory, guilds are transactional, and reputation is a weapon. If you're not calculating, you're being calculated.
I agree, she's competent. But competence can be built on pain. Those two things can coexist. When someone is constantly scanning, constantly managing impressions, constantly minimizing what they reveal, that often reflects an inner system shaped by threat. Judith Herman's Trauma and Recovery lays out a simple truth. Prolonged danger rewires priorities. Safety first, connection later, if ever.
Or it simply reflects training. In courtly culture, people learn to read rooms. They learn masks. They learn to ration words. That's not pathology. That's literacy.
I'm not calling it pathology, I'm calling it cost. Even if it's normal in her world, it can still be a nervous system running hot. Bessel van der Kolk's The Body Keeps the Score emphasizes that trauma is not just a memory of bad events, it's a state the body can keep living in. A person can look composed and still be internally braced all the time.
But you're applying modern clinical frameworks to a medieval reality. In her context, being braced is rational. It's not a symptom, it's alignment with the environment.
And that's where we actually agree. Her reactions are rational. The question is whether rationality is also restrictive. If you live in constant readiness, you can lose access to softer emotions, even when it would help you. That's not weakness, it's a trade.
Fine. Let's name the trade. She gains leverage, she loses spontaneity. But that's a deal most survivors would take.
Yes, and survivors often don't realize what they've surrendered until something safe appears. That's when the system panics, not because safety is bad, but because it's unfamiliar. Attachment research points to this tension. Secure connection can feel threatening to someone who learned that closeness equals loss.
Here's my pushback. You're framing her as if she's driven by fear. I see her driven by agency. She chooses, she plans, she moves pieces. Fear-driven people freeze. She doesn't.
Fear doesn't always freeze. Fear can sharpen. Fear can turn into control. The fear is not, I'm scared of the dark. It's, I've learned what happens when I'm unprepared. That kind of fear produces planners, not quitters.
And that planning is exactly why she thrives. She treats information like currency. She doesn't spill it. She doesn't perform honesty for comfort. In court, honesty is a liability.
And, psychologically, that restraint is also boundary protection. People who learned that being fully seen leads to harm often become careful with detail. They give just enough to keep the interaction stable, while protecting the core.
Let's talk masks. She can be pleasant, neutral, entertaining, harmless. Then she can be suddenly precise and lethal. That's not trauma, that's courtcraft.
It can be both. Compartmentalization is real. Think of internal roles: the public self, the analyst, the operator. Switching between roles is useful, but if it becomes automatic, you can start to feel disconnected from emotion, not numb, but separated, like it's behind glass.
And yet, she forms bonds, selectively. That is not someone incapable of feeling.
Exactly. She's selective attachment, a small inner circle, intense loyalty, and the smaller the circle, the higher the stakes. You control the number of people you can't afford to lose.
Or it's political logic. Allies are scarce. Trust is expensive. You invest carefully.
Same conclusion, different language. And readers miss this. Her care doesn't look like warmth. It looks like action, protection, problem solving, vigilance. She doesn't soothe with words. She stabilizes the situation.
Because words are cheap.
And because words can expose her, which leads to a hidden cost. If you always turn emotion into function, grief gets postponed. It doesn't vanish, it accumulates. Clinically, you often see it leak into insomnia, irritability, tension, the need to control the environment, difficulty resting, not because the person is fragile, but because the body can't sprint forever.
You're making it sound inevitable that she breaks.
Not inevitable, but likely that the system will demand payment eventually. The question is what triggers it. Often it's not danger, it's connection.
Connection?
Yes, because enemies are predictable, danger activates her best self, but a safe bond threatens her identity. If control kept her alive, then safety asks her to become someone else.
My version is simpler. She doesn't fear connection. She manages it. She turns it into loyalty, obligation, leverage.
And my question is whether she can do that forever, without losing something essential. At some point, a bond stops being a tool and becomes a mirror.
So let's end with a question worth thinking about.
If she meets someone who offers safety without a price, does she treat it like a trap?
Or a doorway.
And if it's a doorway, is she brave enough to walk through it, knowing she might have to put down the armor that made her unstoppable?
If you had to earn Tisha's trust, what would you do first? Offer information, offer protection, or offer silence?
Put in the comments info, shield, or silence, and say why. See you in the next one.
Thanks for listening, and welcome to the circle.